All right, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to take a look at some stocks to watch or buy maybe in June 2022. So the market's been pulling back quite a bit. I want to share with you some insight. Obviously, it's not a full recommendation to buy, sell, or trade anything. It's just my own opinion. And if you want to also work with me one-on-one, definitely check out the tradersfly.com website. There's a lot of coaching here that I do, sometimes just one session if you want to do one session, or I even work with people for 3 months, 6 months, or a year at a time, one-on-one to group sessions as well. So check that out if you're interested to get serious on trading options and much more. All right, so let's kick things off and we're going to go ahead and take a look at this. I made a quick little list and just show you some insight here. They're not in any particular order, but we are going to sort them by highest price right now. So here we go. So we're going to start out with Intuit. I kind of like this overall stock. It's been doing fairly well. Just if you look at since 2009, the stock has trended to the upside. And from a longer term monthly perspective, we're actually still intact on the trend. So when you really look at it from this standpoint, we're still actually moving fairly well. And right here, we're actually just came back to this support level. We started to go, came back to support, and now we're going to probably try to bounce. So I like this from this standpoint. If you look at it from a weekly side, this stock is pulling back quite a bit, but what we start seeing is that it's a general retracement, right? So when stocks go up, they pull back, and it could actually just be a general retracement. They make the software for accounting, and if you're running your own business and that kind of thing, you're still going to be paying for that. Daily wise, what I like is here we're starting to base around this 350. They just talked about their earnings. Here we've got kind of a support. There's a little bit of issue, hiccup there with some selling pressure. Obviously, the market's been weak, but here, if you look at this descending trend line, it's starting to bounce and get above some of the moving averages, just one of the moving averages. But if this continues, because here's the base, if this continues, that could start moving fairly well. So I like this one overall from that side, and it's been holding fairly strong. So we'll see if we get more follow through by the time you see this video. It'll be a few days later, but 350 is kind of what I would watch for a support level. All right, let's look at Home Depot here. Also, another one very strong. If you look at the monthly, just take a look. It's just been going up, excuse me. And we continue to push into higher prices. Yes, from the highs here recently, we were at 414. Now we're still down at 292. So it doesn't appear to be good. But what I like is the recent here sideways action that we've had. And then again, we're getting some sideways action. So we're still on the trend downward. And I'd like for this to clear about the 300 level. So we're still kind of compressing here, but it's one to watch right here. If we do get a turnaround, I'd keep an eye on around this price point for that stock. Okay, next one, Netflix. Oh man, this one's had some trouble and serious problems. I don't think this will turn around too quickly because I think 135 is a really solid support level here. We've had some good highs in the past over here in 2016, but it's already getting kind of, really beaten down. So you're kind of getting to that point. The other thing that I like about this is just recently on the daily, what you're seeing is just a lot of sideways compression here. And that's pretty good. So rather than going down on this moving average line, I think most people that sold or plan to sell are already sold. So what we've got is just kind of this little compression zone right here moving sideways. And as it's moving sideways, that usually builds some steam either for the next leg up or obviously down. But like I said, I think most people that have panicked out of the stock probably are done. Now you might get some new shorts or something like that come in. But overall, it could be just basing here sideways for a little while. And then we'll see if that can build some steam. Keep an eye on it because it could move very quickly. All right, Target. This one has been loved very much over the many months. And it's you can see from this standpoint from 2018, really accelerated. We got to some highs and now we've got some pullback. I think this one has got some potential for a counter trend bounce. I don't know if it'll be something that'll continue to go up very heavily or very quickly, but it's got some potential for a counter trend bounce. I've got some support here marked from a previous high in 2020 right there. And that's right around 130, and we're above that right now. So this stock broke down very heavily, and I think right now we're just going to try to base, and we'll see. I'll keep an eye on it because it could come up and fill that gap at around 208. I'm not saying it's going to go all the way up, but you could go in and see some levels maybe around this level, 180, because that was a low over here, or even maybe, could be a gap fill. So even just to pop a little here or pop a little there, so I'm looking at some of those levels that could take off. JP Morgan's another one to watch. This descending trend line, okay, has been a lot of pressure, and you can see right now it's testing it again. So, and we're starting to get a little bit of a base here. So it's pulled back quite heavily in this trend right there. And if we start breaking out of this trend, that could be a really good positive move for the stock. So definitely keep an eye on it here, as it's also starting to build a little bit of a bullish volume in that zone. Zoom, similar. The stocks had some trouble. You know, it really accelerated fast near this $500 price point, and then pulled back fast, just as fast. And now we're kind of getting into maybe some digestion period. So we've got some resistance here that's building, but I think some people are, okay, well, cool. Now we've got some new valuation. Watch this price point here and see if that can kind of start picking up some speed. Okay, the other one is Camping World Holdings. I like this one because this descending trend line was starting to break. So from a price action standpoint, it started to move right here. The problem is we got a little bit above this 30 and then started to reject higher prices. But we're also compressing around the 25. So we're starting to build a base around 25, and you're right at 25. The problem is if this sells off past 25, that could be an issue. But what I'm seeing is now we went from a downward channel to now going more into sideways action, and maybe we can pop a little bit more to the upside. So that's kind of my last one here. It's the cheapest one as well. Obviously, there's many more stocks. These are just stocks based on kind of the option side, where they trade options, they trade weekly options, and they kind of have some decent volume. There's many more stocks out there that you could take a look into, but these are some of the ones that are kind of from a bigger list, are already fine-tuned down. So anyways, enjoy this. Keep an eye on them. They may or may not work, obviously, from a long perspective. Just depends on market conditions, the stocks themselves, and anything else that's going on, depending on your strategy and when you get in. But other than that, I keep an eye on those just from your own personal perspective, even if you're just going in and just learning from the paper trades or real trades that you do. So thanks for joining me. Enjoy the rest of the week ahead, and I will see you in the next video.